same comp that we saw initially. So we see the Warlock, the Paladin, and the Warrior on the Alliance side against. Yeah, I guess you're right. So I guess it is that double Shaman Hunter.
I don't
that
know
should
what
be
to
interesting.
think of this team.
That should be interesting. I think they. I don't know how far they go against like mage comps because I just don't think they have like anti-CC available to them. But against a Paladin comp, maybe they've got enough damage just to, maybe they got the dam just to, just to pipe through the Paladin.
Well, they got something. They got 3 beefy male orcs ready to go in and tear it up.
My kind of party here. And that's going to be huge in just intercept stuns, grenade stuns, the Hodge from the Paladin. Like, any of these things could be a determining factor if anything is resisted. And that's something to think about. These orcs are not to be underestimated. I saw a lot of, when I was doing trial rounds, a lot of troll shamans and torrent shamans, interestingly. And I always kind of just, I always imagine you're going to see more orcs. And I wonder if that's going to be the case today, especially with PvP-centric, or PvP-centric event. That's going to call that type of player that's going to go orc for the stun resist. Now there's merit to the shaman.
Double grounding drop tiers.
That's big. That's so big. That Warlock is not going to get to play.
Interesting. Yeah, no, the Warlock won't get to play at the start here, and they'll have more groundings available to them as the cooldowns are brought there. Look at that.
Look at that.
Shock onto Blood.
That's so scary, man.
HP with nothing used from them as they look to get some chain lightnings down, and there's no way the Paladin will be able to heal through this. The lightning bolts are going out here. They don't have good hard interrupts for them. But the big fear, no Tremor Totem down, as far as I can see. No, the Tremor Totem is down, so they will get brought out of those fears. They have to get this damage down onto.
Oh my God, so much damn!
HP, the Paladin barely keeps him alive. That damage is insane, 11%. Will the multi-shot be enough? The auto doesn't do it. The first aid's going out. The Warlock brought low as well. They're going to switch on to him, and the pain train will only continue from here, boys, as they look to get that serious damage down in this comp, but they're being whittled down by the composition. They haven't managed to kill the Warrior, but Bloodwatch is taken down there as DotsQT and Centrix are left alive here trying to survive against the Dam, and more fucking Dam from StreamSnipe, Beastaf, and Toxicity XD. Not XD, just a D, but holy heck, that damage. They're already brought low on mana, but it doesn't seem like it'll matter because Centrix himself brought very low as well. They can drink in the back here. Toxicity doing it himself as they look to close the gap and finish out this match.
They should be illegal.
Yeah, there is so much damage coming out, and this is a favorite composition for me to take this thing if they play properly. Just there's so much. It's so good against casters as well. Just because of the double grounding totems that they have available to them. You have two potential healers here if things hit the fan. Even if you go double elemental mastery, you probably aren't going to need this nature's swiftness, and we're going to see the Warlock fall shortly after. The Warlock couldn't even really play the game. I was going to say I would have liked to see some Curse of Tongues right off of the bat, because we didn't see it till about midway through that skirmish. But unfortunately, you have things like the ground and double grounding totem, and that isn't gonna, even if you curse, it's not gonna remove it. You have to wand it. You have to do some sort of instant damage, and
it will nullify it though temporarily. So I would have liked to see at least spamming Curse of Tongues.
That's a good idea,
and just trying to get it through.
Because that's crucial. That's the one thing you have going for you to try to stop these shamans from doing exactly what they want to do. And the Warrior, it's a good counter composition to Warrior, I feel like, because Warrior wants to get in there and smork, and sometimes even getting out of temporary line of sight with their healer for just that moment, just to try to connect with some damage. And he can't do that. I've noticed that with the trial duels too. As soon as that Warrior would like come around the corner and just start training, he got trained himself. He got hit by the train. And you saw that here. Double Shaman Hunter is going to be a very scary composition going forward.
I don't feel like the Warlock is doing them much good here though, even though it should, right? You should have that Curse of Tongues giving you a lot of really real estate here in this matchup. But I mean, maybe something like a mage would be better off, right? So Paladin, Warrior, Mage might be able to make that difference, keep that, be able to have that swift grounding protection, throw out a Fire Blast or a couple Scorches. Even like the Searing Pains could have come out from the Warlock there just to get those groundings down, to get a fear off, to get but like you have the Tremor Totem available. So you need those sheeps. You need some other kind of CC because they're going to keep the tremors down. They're going to keep them protected because their zone of control with how much damage they have is just massive.
Is this one of those where the Warrior pulls out the gun from far away and shoots one down for his Warlock friend before initiating? Like, is that something that we wanted to see happening? Because it feels like the Warlock's going to struggle clearing these totems alone.
but they're gonna hide them as well. You can't get into the site. Look at where these grounding totems are. You could try and shoot through the building, but I mean, like they're not making it available to them. So it looks like they're gonna go through the other side here. I think that's the play. I think they want to go to the other side where the totems are and clear out the totems. They're gonna re-engage on this other side, though. No, they're gonna have the groundings available if they don't clear them. We need DotsQT to really up his game this matchup and get the groundings down. They've replaced the groundings so they're not exposed in any way. But he could get a gunshot off here to get them down. Let's see if the tongues can go out. Let's see if they can prevent some of that damage. Even like a stray shot that as they peek will come out here as the Shamans look to engage. The Frost Stalks come out in the Blood Waltz, but the healing will be there. The Lightning Bolt's starting to come out here. I see the Curse of Tongues come down onto Toxicity, and they're coming down onto Beastaf as well. They have some of that damage prevention down as DotsQT will look to re-engage her. I think that's the play. I think you want to wait for a small window here, get everyone full HP, and then re-engage full in on Toxicity or on Beastaf, because I think Stream Snipe will be too hard to actually kill with the peel he has available to him. Remount it up, looking forward engage here. Let's see what he can do.
I was
ticking off.
I was looking to see if maybe the hunter could snipe through the building. It didn't look like he's able to, but either way, this duel is going to get started again. You're seeing the grounding totems go down. There is going to be the scatter shot onto the warrior. The chain lightning comes down afterwards, down to half HP, back up to 100% HP. The earth shocks are going to come down, and he gets weaved. His HP bar is just weaving up and down and to and fro, and this Paladin just can't keep him up as he's nearly in executable range. There's that 60%. The chain lightning is going to connect half HP. That coil comes down and goes on a grounding totem. The shaman dies. So does the warrior, and the freezing trap's going to connect with the pet. Warlock can't do this. He's as fuck, but they did take down one.
Death on that fear will be huge there for Stream Snipe as DotsQT is brought so incredibly low on mana here. He's tapping for a little bit of extra juice, but he doesn't have enough in the tank. The fear will go out, but it won't actually connect the grounding instead. No, it's a fear onto the pet. Not sure why he would have done that right there, but the chain lightning going down here. DotsQT, dangerously low, taken down there summarily in this matchup as Centrix looks to get taken down himself.
Speaking of cool air, speaking of juice right now, oh yeah, the Shaman's coming barreling through, doing so much damage. The Paladin trying to finish him off, but there's just not a chance in hell. The only hope of that battle going in the favor of the warrior composition would have been if he was actually able to land that killing blow onto the Shaman and then afterwards pick up the pieces and get his HP back, but there was no life-giving gem that was still on cooldown, so this is going to be a Shaman Hunter victory, and they're going to be moving on.
So I see a lot of comments about the Fell Hunter pet getting a silence out. It's really hard to get a silence out when you're dead from chain lightning hitting you. The Fell Hunter pet fell very early in that. It did get one crucial spell lockout, but the chain lightnings were hitting it left, right, and center, and it was just deleted.
I think potentially mistake not going SL for these matchups. I think with how strong like the caster burst is available to you, I think with the role that Warlock plays in this team, I don't think that the extra damage from not being SL is really going to push you that much further. And I think having that spell resist available on the Fell Hunter or in a composition where you don't even want it potentially, maybe like composition where there's not a caster, I don't think you'd find one, but if you did, you'd still have the Void Walker available just for all that damage prevention, right? And maybe like a Hunter, Warrior, Rogue composition like that. So,
but that is definitely a scary team. But we got another comp setting up.
Welcome one, welcome all to the ReadyRaider 3v3 double elimination tournament. There's only one place in all of Azeroth you'll hear this type of commentary, see this caliber of gameplay, and listen to this smooth of music. So if you like what you're seeing, consider dropping a follow, because the content is only getting better from here, folks. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn, get yourself a drink. When you're watching OG Jazzy Jeff, one thing's for certain, that you are in for a bumpy ride. So without further ado, let the show continue!
Hello, Azeroth! Do you hear me? All right, we're gonna get this party started, baby. Woo! That gets me going. I don't know if you guys can hear the music to my co-casters, and it doesn't make it quite as special when you cannot, but god damn does that feel good. Let's get this party started here.
As the blizzard will go down and the match will commence here, we've got the double shaman yet again, double grounding looking down here as the priest, the Hunter and the Rogue will look for some kind of opener here. Will be challenging to find out a sap there with both of those Shamans unable to be sapped in that Ghost Wolf form here. So playing to their advantage, playing in their zone of control. I don't see an opening for this Priest, Rogue, Hunter lineup.
Yeah, this is tough, and I'm like that our Shamans...
The Shaman, the totem's going down there. Ryujin making sure that he gets what he can in terms of getting those down. They're going to have to shift out to put more totems down here. So looking like as strong as they can here. Getting the auto shot off, getting that last grounding down will be their last task here.
Ooh, that was a full Viper that just went out on our Hunter friend. On our Night Elf Hunter. That was a full Viper that didn't get dispelled. They weave in the multi-shot. 30% down damage done to the Shaman already.
Another Viper.
That's big, and we need to see these dispelled absolutely immediately. I want to see things like the poison.
They can't. The Priest has nothing available to them without the consumes that are
banned.
Oh,
they're just in trouble now. They can't use the poison cleansing. They can't use the elixir. Yeah, they don't have a dispel for that poison. That's absolutely true, Northy.
They're up shit creek, and they have no fucking paddle. The Shamans broke it over their knee, and they're looking to get anything they can here. The Flare down, the Rogue, no real open there. Laser Load is looking for what he can there on the side, but he's just going to get Vipered up over and over again. Yeah, sure, he can drink, but if they look for any engage in a timely fashion, they're going to get taken down here. The Viper going out onto the Priest there.
That Viper on the Priest is just, it's dirty. It's like, you look at that. Delta's already right now, and now the Shamans are starting to close the distance. They're gonna. Who are they gonna go for? They're gonna go for the Hunter by the looks of it. The trap does come down to slow him. The frost shot goes down on the Hunter. The chain lightning's going to come down to 6%.
Mastery gouged there by the Rogue here. Beastaf not with as much burst as he'd like available to him, being chain grenaded there as Ryujin gets the healing down. They look for some damage here on the toxicity, but they're not finding much. They're sitting in the scatter shot. Their grenade will be followed up. Perfect gameplay there from Stream Snipe, or from I believe it's from Stream Snipe there. There are too many greens on the map. There's Later Lows brought down to 50% HP, looking for a bit of distance there as he looks to dance inside the hut, but he can't go inside himself there. Brought down to 40% HP. The Priest, himself, bringing up the Rogue, but he's down to 40% HP. Pops the AGM and pops the boots, but it will be taken out by that Shaman damage. They're looking to kite around, but it's not going to mean enough there when that Priest is completely here, looking to take down Stream Snipe there, but the trap coming down will mean that it's not enough. With that kidney shot, he will come out, but the damage coming into the Priest will mean the Priest is taken down. Big KO there as the chain lightning will go off, and the lightning party just continues there. The Hunter will almost certainly go down, maybe not before the Rogue himself with the auto shot to the head, and this team with the double Shaman looks unstoppable.
They're playing really well too, and I actually really like their flanking maneuver when they kind of put a Shaman on each side of the building, and because they were like, hey, you want a line of sight? We're not letting you. And they felt in a dominant enough position where they didn't need to be stacked right on top of each other to support each other. They could have peeked around the corner and done it if it was needed, but they saw that their opponents were enough because enough Viper Stings were put out onto them where they were vulnerable and they needed to drink up. They needed to restore those resources, and these Shamans didn't allow it. One of them was on each side, and the Hunter was on the third corner of the building, and they just pincered them. Where do you go to drink at that point? And so no matter where they went, lightning struck.
And the Rogue used every cooldown in his spell book. He has nothing available to him for this next match.
And that just might spell defeat no matter what composition you're going against at the end of the day.
I mean, the fact that you're rocking a Night Elf Priest, right? Those Star Shards not really coming into clutch here in the first iteration of World of Warcraft. So, Ryujin is nicely as he played there, not really, his male Night Elf self, the Shadow Meld, not really doing much for him at the end of the day.
Unfortunately not.
No stone form available for those Vipers, at least for one tick there, so he will sit the entire matchup. No Druid available to their team or Paladin, so that will mean that they just sit in those Vipers and they take so much punishment from it. So not really what you want to see in terms of a lineup. I don't think this composition is really going to take them that far. Rockman, what do you think?
I think they're in a lot of trouble is what they are.
I don't disagree with you, man. The dueling flag is going to go down as we get this next round started.
Round 2. Fight.
The triple orc male too strong here as Ryujin looks to just get in there.
There's
no
the trap.
Fucking no fear, no jeer as he just looks to get past that Viper Sting. He will get Viper Stung
So
up as
much
he's
damage,
immediately
dude.
taken down by the Shaman. Big KO as the Shamans just eat them alive.
Yeah, there's just no chance. They try to get offensive. He's like, you know what? We can't afford to go They go in there for the Psychic Stream. The trap comes down and he gets broken out of it immediately. Still gets a Psychic Stream, and it's just not enough as the Rogue gets stuck in the trap. The Shaman was down to half HP, but you got another Shaman to deal with, baby. And they're just training this Hunter. Double Frost Shot going down on a 50%, 15%, and it's going to be another death. And now they're just looking at that Rogue, and they might as well end it right now. Is it going to be a little BM kill? He's still going for him. He wants some revenge for his teammates, and now he gets to take the walk of shame right back like his team. But that was two. They ain't going to a third, baby.
And that is such a strong team comp. I just feel like with the amount of damage that they have available to them and the amount of pressure that they have with those Viper Stings, with the preventative like zone control with those grounding totems, I really think that people are going to struggle to deal with this team comp because who do you focus? Right, you focus on one Shaman, you've got the next one threading you. You focus on that other Shaman, even if you can try and CC the both of them. You got a Hunter in the back line piping you left and right. You've got a timer on your match with those Viper Stings if you don't have those Dispels available. And even if you have the Dispels available, you don't have that much time because you have so many globals that you have to spend that Hunter's just sitting in the back and just peppering away. It's a challenging matchup for sure.
And I liked the kind of more aggressive approach with like, they were like, you know, they went in with a different mindset. They were ready to adapt. They wanted to adapt. They were like, you know what? They drained the fuck out of our mana. We have no way of getting rid of that with the current rule set. And we don't have a classic and Dispel Poisons. What do we do? Well, we can try to get aggressive. And they did. They tried to go in there. But unfortunately, when you run headfirst at a train that is two Shamans, sometimes you're going to get hit pretty hard by it.
I don't really think there's anything they could have done there. Their Hunter was in tier 1 with Rock Dalar, so he's not gonna be like a massive pumper damage wise. But I like their guild name for sure. Please clap. That's a good guild name.
They've got that going for them. This is good stuff. It's a good starting point. At the end of the day, that's half the battle.
But half the battle, not enough here in the double elimination tournament. Won't be enough for them. They will get sent down to the losers bracket. Gear can make up a pretty big difference here, especially when you're going up against triple male lineup. That's nothing to scoff at in terms of physical damage reduction. So when you only have the Rogue and the Hunter available to you, I don't think that's the matchup I don't think that's the comp that you really want to go with. And you take what you have, right? You take your best players, and you might not have the comp at the end of the day that suits the best. But I think having some pressure in terms of spell damage is going to be a huge factor here if you don't have endless amounts of sustain available to you, because you're just going to be countered by teams like that. I wonder even if a warrior, druid, paladin can deal with the amount of damage that team is pushing out. We saw with the warlock, I believe it was with the warlock, paladin, warrior, it was just too much for them. Right, that amount of lightning coming out of the fingertips of those Shamans was far too much, and they were able to just take down the warrior near instantly. Right, one volley, two volley. It's not like they're super cooldown reliant. Obviously, Elemental Mastery is a nice ability, but they're not really relying on it as much, and they have so much just off pressure with those, you know, healing waves, with everything that's available to them, that it's an uphill battle for any team.
I think if I'm that Alliance team, I go for a sap on somebody. I get a scatter trap on someone else, and you push all the chips on getting
Who do you
a kill.
sap? Who do you
It
sap?
doesn't
The
matter.
two ghost wolves or the hunter? The hunter's sitting in the flare. You got two ghost wolves chilling there.
Nah, they're running around as male orcs trying to purge. They're not in Ghost Wolf.
In the first match, they were ghost wolf the whole time when the rogue actually had cooldowns.
Yeah, maybe the first one.
It is a tough one. I sometimes wonder if Hunter's very dominant in these, and it feels like they're always going to be a good addition to a composition. And I wonder, honestly, if it's to the point where you might just, if you want to take this thing all the way, and you run into that, it might be too big of a problem if you do not have a poison cleanse. So do you need a paladin? Do you need something that can get rid of that? Because, you know, a druid or a paladin, do you need that? Otherwise, it might just be too difficult to deal with a hunter composition.